Hey Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Mechar Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that teach us these words. And Shalom unto the hopeful elect upon the four corners of this earth that shall make it up out of here in truth and sincerity. So this lesson that I want to bring out is going to be talking about the hereditary traits of wickedness and iniquity has been passed down from the nation of Israel's ancestors all the way down to now. Because wickedness and rebellion has always been in the nation of Israel's heart. We're called a rebellious nation. So that means that's just a trait that we have. That's a trait that's been in us, that's been passed down even to now. And before I bring out this first scripture, I want to bring out the definition of hereditary. And we're specifically going to be talking about the definition here. It says of a characteristic or disease determined by genetic factors and therefore able to be passed on from parents to their offspring or descendants. So that's talking about something being hereditary on a physical sense. But the Most High deals deeper than that. He deals with hereditariness on a spiritual sense as well, because he passed down the spirit that we have from our ancestors all the way down to us. That spirit of wickedness, that spirit of rebellion. We have that all the way from then to now. And that's a hereditary trait that's been passed down. So I want to get 2 Ezra chapter 3 verse 5. It says, "And gavest the body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee. And thou leadest him into paradise, which thy right hand had planted, before ever the earth came forward. And unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed. And immediately thou appointed death in him and in his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, people, and kindreds out of number." So Adam transgressed and he went off. He was only supposed to know of righteousness, and then he got that knowledge of wickedness, and so he went off. And so that caused a cycle of wickedness to go down all those generations after him. So verse 8 says, "And every people walked after their own will, and did wonderful things before thee, and despised thy commandments. And again, in process of time, thou broughtest a flood upon those that dwelt in the world, and destroyest them. And it came to pass in every of them that as death was to Adam, so was the flood to these. Nevertheless, one of them thou leftest, namely Noah with his household, of whom came all righteous men." So the Most High, he got rid of the entire world outside of Noah and his household, to start over, because we were getting too deep into that wickedness. We were too lost in the sauce, So so it says, "And it happened that when they dwelt upon the earth began to multiply." Wait, Salaki, "And it happened that when they that dwelt upon the earth began to multiply, and had gotten them many children, and were a great people, they began again to be more ungodly than the first." So we restarted with Noah. It says, "Which came righteous men." Noah was that only man who was doing what he was supposed to be doing during the time of the flood. That's why the Most High got rid of everyone else outside of Noah, because Noah was actually doing what he was supposed to be doing. So we restarted with his bloodline. We restarted with his lineage, but the people after Noah still started to go off. And why? Because we still have those traits passed down from Adam all the way to now. We still have that wickedness that's placed inside our spirit from the Most High, because that's just the type of people we are. Even though the nation was restarted with Noah, we still have that wickedness inside of us. We still had that wickedness inside of us. It said it was worse than it was before. They began again to be more ungodly than the first. You know? So it says, now when they lived so wickedly before thee, thou didst choose thee a man from among them, whose name was Abraham. Him thou lovest, and unto him only thou showedest thy will, and madest an everlasting covenant with him, promising him that thou wouldest never forsake his seed. And unto him thou gavest Isaac, and unto Isaac thou gavest Jacob and Esau. As for Jacob, thou didst choose him to thee, and put by Esau. And so Jacob became a great multitude. So it's saying that the Most High chose out of this wicked and rebellious nation. He chose Abraham, and he gave him he showed Abraham his ways. He gave Abraham that promise. Out of all people. So he was choosing Abraham to restart and have that great nation. So it says, and it came to pass that when thou leadest his seed out of Egypt, thou broughtest them to Mount Sinai, and bowing the heavens, thou didst set fast the earth, movest the whole world, and made the depths to tremble, and troublest the men of that age. And thy glory went through four gates of fire, and of earthquake, and of wind, and of cold, that thou mightest give the law unto the seed of Jacob, and diligence unto the generation of Israel. And yet tookest thou not away from them a wicked heart, that thy law might bring forth fruit in them. For the first Adam, bearing a wicked heart, transgressed and was overcome, and so be all they that are born of him. So that's the point that I wanted to get. I want to read down to there, because it's saying that he gave that nation of Israel the law. He gave us that here. Let me see. I want to quote it directly from the scripture. It says. It says, and yet tookest thou not away from them a wicked heart, that thy law might bring forth fruit in them. So he gave us the law, but he also kept that wicked heart in us. We still had that trait passed down. And it says, for the first Adam bearing a wicked heart transgressed and was overcome, and so be all they that are born of him. So everyone that's born from Adam, since Adam was the first, that's where everyone comes from. Everyone that's born of him has that wicked heart as well. And that's a trait that's passed down. That's a hereditary. And while it may be physical, that's definitely spiritual as well. The Most High spiritually put that trait inside of everybody. It says, thus infirmity was made permanent, and the law also in the heart of the people with the malignity of the root, so that the good departed away and the evil abode still. So the Most High kept that trait of wickedness inside of us. Even when he restarted with Noah, we became even worse than we were before. Because that's just a trait that's inside of us that won't be taken out of us until we're saved in the last days. That's when the Most High is going to transform us into those new bodies. We're gonna our inward parts are going to be rewritten. We're going to be reprogrammed to think of nothing but righteousness. But right now we still have that trait of wickedness inside of us. So here I want to get Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 7. So it says, actually, no, so like 1 verse 9. It says, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. So what it's talking about is reincarnation, because it's saying that it's saying the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. So what happened in before times is going to happen again. What is that talking about? It's talking about reincarnation. Just like we was being wicked, we was going off before the times of Noah, and then the Most High restarted with Noah, and now after Noah, we're still being wicked. That's that spirit reincarnating. That's the Most High still having that that spirit of wickedness inside of us from generation unto generation, even to now. We still have that spirit of unrighteousness. Noah was trying to warn the people, and no one would listen. Just like now, we're trying to warn the people of the times that are coming. The prophets are trying to warn the people in present time of the times that are coming, of Yahushua's return, and no one is listening, because we still have those traits of wickedness still inside of us from all the way before, from all the way from our ancestors, thousands of years ago. So here I want to get one more scripture. I want to get Matthew chapter 24, verse 38. Actually, no, I'll start at verse 37. It says, "But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." So why is he comparing Yahushua's return to the times of the flood? Because it's going to be the same thing. It's just those times of reincarnated. It's going to be that event reincarnated. Because in those times, no one was worried about what Noah was talking about. People were having fun. They were living it up. They had no worries. They was indulging in sin and wasn't worried about it. Just like now. And it says there, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage. And these are joyful acts. Marriage is a joyful act. Eating and drinking and being merry, that's a joyful act. And just like today, people are having fun. People are having joyful acts. They ain't worried about anything. They ain't worried about the sin that they're constantly committing. They're not worried about the prophets and the men of the Lord that are warning them. They're just having fun. And these times today are going to be just like the times of Noah, where that destruction is going to come, and those people unto the nation of Israel today who are having fun, not worried about nothing, they're going to get caught completely off guard. That's why it compares the two, because it's the same time. So, hey, with that being said, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Mecharik Badash, and hey, Shalom.